Hello, my name is Pokocky. I'm an HR consultant and life and success mindset coach. Welcome to the Livefully podcast, where we touch on everything in regards to growth, evolution, personal development, as well as some story times and interviews to keep it interesting. My hope is to bring you value and inspire you, entertain you, in order for you to live a more fulfilled life starting now. Thank you for tuning in, and let's get started. Welcome guys to the podcast number 2. I'm filming at night. I'm sorry. I know it's not the best quality, but the front camera of the iPhone is not that bad, so let's go with it. This microphone, hopefully I'm not making noise with my hair and that you guys hear me really well. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the first episode. If you did, if not, go back and watch that. We talk about shifting your identity. Today, I want to talk about another very important topic that could have been number 1. And I'm debating in my head, should it have been number 1? But no, I think shifting your identity was really inspiring, was really getting you into that image of seeing yourself becoming that identity that you want. And personal responsibility, today's topic is going to be the topic that's actually going to help you to be able to do that even more. So we're going to go even more into depth of how can I take full responsibility of my life, and what does that mean, and how is that going to affect how I impact my life and what happens for me in my life. Disclaimer, if I'm out of breath, it is absolutely normal. I am 40 weeks, 4 days pregnant. I am actually right now in early labor, so it's called latent phase of labor. That means that you're working towards 4 centimeters. When you're starting at 4 centimeters dilation, sorry if it's TMI, but anyways, when you're at 4 centimeters to around, I think it's 8, that's active labor. So your contractions are super close, they're regular, and they're pushing your baby out up to 8 centimeters, and then 8 to 10 transition, you give birth and push. So I've been in latent phase, which is insane, and I'm going to share it here because I'm like Googling and there's like only info saying you could be in latent phase for a couple hours or days. I've been in latent phase of labor since the 26th. So on the 26th of December, I started having contractions. If you guys watched the vlog, you will have seen, I keep talking about it. Instagram as well. I keep talking about it because it's like I'm literally in early labor, but for so many days. And I'm sharing this and I'm taking 2 seconds to talk about this. If you want to skip forward, go ahead. Skip like with the 30-second skip forward. We'll be talking about personal responsibility. But I do want to take a moment to share this because I feel like if you're a woman listening to this and you want to have babies, or you've had babies, or any of the above, it's important that we talk about this because we're all so different. We all have different experiences, and sharing our experiences together helps us feel like it's normal and not stress out. Like there's moments where I'm like, oh my God, why is it so long? Is something wrong with me, with the baby? No, everything's fine. Everything's good. It's just that it's not the norm, but there is no norm in labor. Every single person that gives birth is completely different. And I'm not doing any type of like inducing. I'm not doing any type of like the stripping that they can do, which helps accelerate everything. I don't want to do that. I do osteopath. So my osteopath places the baby. He helps me with breathing. He helps me with heartburn, with all these things. And he's insanely good and amazing. So if you want that reference in Montreal, let me know. I will let you guys know. But I have been in latent phase since the 26th. And that means that my cervix is slowly dilating and I'm working towards active labor, which is going to start around 4 centimeters. Usually it should pick up, and contractions should pick up. So I've been having for me it's very mild. Other women it's not, but mild contractions that happen sometimes in the morning. Sometimes they happen 1 here, 1 there. Sometimes they happen 5 in a row, 10 in a row. And they're like 6 to 10, 11 minutes apart for me. And that's like working and dilating my cervix and effacing as well. So the baby's going down as well. So I'm sharing that because if you're listening to this and you had a long latent phase and you don't understand and you're past your due date, it's so normal. We all go past our due dates. That's the norm anyways, to go past your due date. And the hospitals and all, they want to oftentimes like speed things up for you. Like my doctor's like, okay, let's already book your induction for the 21st. But it's like a formality, and she's making sure that I'll have space if ever something would be needed. But technically I'm good. Everything's going well. And we're just letting it happen. Sorry, I'm out of breath. For my next months, I will definitely probably have my baby boy, and I will not be out of breath, and I will be here with you guys, maybe looking more tired, actually having makeup on that time, because it's been 2 podcasts that I don't have makeup. The other one I was at the cottage, and this one I'm at home, and it's Saturday. We had a beautiful family day. I'm not going to put makeup on at 7:58 for my podcast. So my hair is done at least. I wanted to feel cute this morning, so I took 5 minutes to do it. And we had a great family day, playing outside with the baby, doing my big Costco run. So I risked it and I went to Costco because I feel like, hey, at this point, I'm staying home all week waiting for it to happen. I'm just going to keep living my life. I went to Costco, had my big food shop, and I'm ready for this baby. And I really wanted to sit down and film this podcast with you because I wanted to be up this Wednesday. If I don't film now and I give birth tonight, then when am I going to film with a newborn? So today I wanted to talk to you guys about personal responsibility. It's a lesson that you learn as if you're doing life coaching, you learn this right away. It's absolutely so important. And it's a lesson that I feel like in personal development should be one of the top lessons, because if you do not have personal responsibility, anything that you learn, anything that you read about, anything that you integrate as knowledge, or you hear, or you try to influence yourself with, or any habits that you try to take on, if you don't have strong personal responsibility, you will not be able to push through and actually attain new ways of being, attain new goals, attain new dreams, because you're gonna fall off at some point. And you're gonna fall off and you're gonna blame it on somebody exterior, somebody or something exterior to you. And when you do that, you're giving blame away, which feels great in the instance, but you're giving your power away. And when you give your power away, you can't keep advancing because it's somebody else's fault. So you have no power. You can't do anything about it. Okay. So I just gave you the whole personal responsibility in 2 seconds. It is giving your power away. Having personal responsibility is owning everything that happens to you. I'm in latent phase of labor right now, like I just talked to you guys about. And I've been in latent phase for almost 3 weeks, which is, you can't even Google, I'm Googling it, it's not showing up. I'm taking full personal responsibility for it. I'm taking actions in regards to that. I'm owning it. I'm owning that this is happening. Yes, to me, it's happening to my body. This is my baby's deciding, and my body's deciding to do it this way and having a slower process. I fully own that, and I'm fully taking responsibility of that and working with that and making sure that I'm still going to have the best labor possible and that it happens the way that I can show up to it. I'm taking full responsibility. So having personal responsibility is even in the sense where if somebody were to bump your car, you take responsibility in that moment. Okay, this happened because I'm in this situation right now, but I'm owning it and I'm taking leadership and I'm taking control of the situation. I'm taking action on this situation. I'm not becoming a victim and blaming someone who ran into my car. And I'm saying this this is not fun. It happened to me with the baby. Someone ran into our car. When did this happen? I feel like it happened 6 months ago. He was not one yet. Anyways, it happened to us. And it's either I'm giving my power away and I'm becoming a victim and I'm sulking and I'm not doing anything about it, or I'm taking action and I'm actually being proactive, calling my insurance, making sure everything's going to be covered, everything's okay, making sure the baby's okay, making sure I'm okay, making sure we're safe and that nothing happened to us, for example. It's very basic. Personal responsibility means that you're taking full responsibility of your person, of yourself, of everything that's happening around you. And when you do that, even if it's things that people are actually doing to you, or you're in a circumstance that's super dire, because that happens and it can happen. There's a way of choosing to, okay, I'm having this situation and I'm reacting to it in this way and I'm taking responsibility for it and I'm gonna take my power back, and no one can take my power back. And there's so many stories like this of people who can be wrongly convicted and they're taking their power back and they're staying in that mindset, and they're staying so in that mindset that it helps them survive, it helps them evolve, it helps them stay in compassion and love for themselves and not let them give up. Okay, so personal responsibility is so important. My point is that you really need to own it and have personal responsibility and develop it all the time, because yes, you can understand personal responsibility and be of course, Hope, I take my power. Of course, I take responsibility. But when you're in a moment where you're in a conflict, let's say with your partner, or you're in a conflict with somebody else, or something happens to you and then you have a bad luck, okay? It's very easy to be oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. I can't believe that I'm in this situation. I'm so unlucky. And you can start getting into the spiral of negative thinking and negative association, and you're going to create more of that for yourself. Instead, I want you to, in those moments, to stop and to take a second and to think, okay, yes, this is how something is happening to me. Someone is doing something to me. Where's my power here? Where's my power? Where can I act? On what can I act in this situation? So what do I actually have power on? On which actions can I take responsibility and do something about it and own it? So it's for sure going to be tough. Sometimes it's going to be easier to give away your power and to be just F it, poor me, I just want to go in bed and sulk. And if you need to do that, girl, for one night, do it. If you need to sulk for one night and you need to lay in bed, watch your shows, whatever it is you want to do, and just be sad, that's okay. That's also, take your time, but then come back into your power, come back into your essence, and really see, okay, which direction do I want to be taking this? I have choice. There is always a choice of something. Either it's a choice of how you're showing up, it's a choice of how you're viewing the situation, it's a choice of your perception of what's going on, it's a choice of you just being open to like, I don't know how I can get out of this, but I'm open to it. It will open a door for you and you will see something and you will be able to get out of a situation. So this is a really, really important key point about personal responsibility. If I tell you today, I want you to think of a blue tiger playing bowling. You are going to be thinking of that right now. It's completely absurd. I'm sure you never thought about that in your life, but now you have the image in your head because I just put it there because I said it to you. Okay. And if now you have that image in your head and you're open to it and you go out and about and you notice a book with a blue tiger, you're like, oh my God, that's Hope's podcast. She talked about a blue tiger. I can't believe I'm seeing the blue tiger. That's because you were open to it, because it's a possibility now in your head and I made you think about it. So you're thinking about it. It's a possibility for you. You're out in the world. You see that possibility again and you notice it. In the past, you would have never noticed it because there is so much information that is coming at us at all times. You have no idea. Right now, I'm on this podcast with you and I'm talking to you guys and I'm super focused. I'm super into it. I love doing these. I get really in the zone. But I mean, there's so many things happening around me. There's probably cars that you hear behind me. There's my baby that's sleeping in the other room. There's my baby in my tummy. I'm in labor. There's my laptop. Something can pop up. There's so many things. Like there's so much bits of information at once. My brain, what it's doing, it's filtering everything out and it's helping me be focused, especially in this moment because I'm laser focused and talking to you guys and I love doing this. So I'm focused. I'm here. I'm not noticing anything else around me. If I wanted to, and I wanted to open possibilities, I'd be like, okay, imagine if, I don't know, I have no imagination right now. But yeah, imagine I just saw a blue tiger right now. And then if there's one that goes by, I will be open to seeing it. And my brain will be open to seeing it because it's part of like it's part of the things that are in my brain that I'm open to see. So what I mean by that is I'm going like, maybe I'm being very confusing. I'm like so pregnant and it's late at night. So sorry if I'm confusing. But the more you're open to, and you're taking responsibility of your reality, and you're open to possibilities, and you're choosing, let's say, okay, I'm intentional and I'm open to seeing opportunities, I'm open to receiving an opportunity. My point is that it will show up. So if you're open to it, something can show up for you because you'll be able to see it. Whereas if you're not willing to see an opportunity and you're like deciding to be in a negative atmosphere, in a negative headspace, and you're deciding to say there are no possibilities, there are no opportunities, there is no way out, I'm a victim, I'm stuck here, and you keep like thinking these things, how can you see the possibility or the blue tiger that's going to come about? And I don't even know why I'm stuck on this blue tiger, but whatever, it's hilarious. So I want you to know that if you are not even able to give yourself an opportunity and take responsibility and say like, hey, I'm open, like let's stay open, like that should be number one of personal responsibility. Stay open, okay? Tell yourself like, I'm open to possibilities. I'm open to opportunities. I'm open to seeing a different perception. This is hard. I feel like shit right now. There's a situation that's hurting me. I'm fighting with this person. This is hurting me. This is happening to me. I'm unlucky. Something happened to my car. I'm unlucky. Whatever. I don't even know why I'm with like the car all the time. But anyways, whatever happens, you can like fully, I want you to take a moment, whatever's going on, whatever situation, and I want you to fully take your power back and to be just open, okay? That's step one. Just promise yourself, I'm gonna start being personally responsible by being open to possibilities, by being open to new opportunities, by being open to something that I don't even know that it could happen, that's gonna pop into my face, and because I'm open to it, and I declare to myself that I will be open to it, it's gonna come in and I'll be able to see that opportunity because my brain will be blocking out all the information. It'll be open to, hey, maybe there's a possibility here. And so that's going to help you. And in a moment where you least expect it, opportunity pops up and you're like, okay, I get it. And this is why this happened. And this is what's happening to me. And that's number one. I want you to be super open to it. Number two of personal responsibility is I want you to look at different spheres of your life. I want you to look at your finances. I want you to look at your family life, at your relationships, your personal relationship with your partner, your spouse, if you have one, or with work. I want you to think about work as well. So your work life, your career life. I want you to think about your home. And I want you to see to what degree in these spheres of my life am I taking personal responsibility? To what degree in each of these spheres am I taking responsibility of what is happening in that situation? Where am I giving my power away? I can give you a great example. For me, for my home, there's something that for me and my partner is very hard for like decluttering and keeping like small daily habits that would like keep us on top of it, like not getting overwhelmed by like clutter quickly. So we're the type of person to be like super intense, super quick, super deep clean. I'm the like super detailed, he's super quick. But then it's like now we are, which I'm so grateful for, but we weren't keeping like a steady routine. It wasn't compounding, it wasn't happening for us, and we were both kind of like being like, oh, that's how we are, and kind of being victims to that situation, to our home, right? Whereas recently we've decided, okay, no, we're going to act upon this. We're taking more responsibility in this area. We're taking more responsibility in this sphere of our lives. And now we're actually having a routine set up for every day after we eat with the baby. We have a whole routine of like how one does the bath, one starts cleaning, then we end up doing it together, helping each other out. And then the kitchen, let's say, is clean for the next day. So we have like moments where we're adding cleaning, or moments where we're adding little routines or little habits that are like taking 15 minutes, but are going to compound and keep our house clean. Okay. And we're taking our power back in that area of our life. So you can definitely be personally responsible, let's say in work, but not in your finances, at home, but not in your relationships. So like any type of situation, I want you to look at in your health and wellness. How personally responsible are you for that? Are you owning that your decisions? Are you owning that you're like maybe not making the best decisions, and you need to review and take more accountability on yourself and be more straight up with yourself? So I want you to look at all the spheres, so relationships, finances, career, work, your home life, your lifestyle, so health and wellness. I want you to look at these sections, and I want you to give yourself ratings and see where you're at, okay? And do not judge yourself, my love, because it doesn't matter where you're at. What's important is knowing that you are starting at this point for this situation and you want to get there. Okay, so this is my point with this exercise, is I want you to look, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Even like what I'm doing right now, I'm tracking my social media consumption because I know I'm going into labor and having my baby very soon. It's very easy to be on your phone when you're breastfeeding. Breastfeeding takes so many hours. It's crazy in the beginning. Like I can't even explain. Like I remember thinking like, what am I supposed to do with all this time? And for me, it was a really bad experience. So it was so painful that I was just not doing anything. And then I was like numbing out with social media because it was so painful. But at some point I started reading my books and like taking accountability for that moment, and that moment with my child, either bonding with him or doing things like reading my book and being calm, meditating, like whatever it is. Okay. I'm going on a random tangent, but my point with this is that recently I've been tracking my social media to make sure that I'm not consuming too much, that I'm creating, I can't speak, that I'm creating more than I'm consuming, because that's my goal, is to create value for you guys, to show up for you guys, to be consistent, to be here and to give you value as much as I can in the field of work that I love. So I'm tracking my social media and I'm making sure that I'm seeing and being absolutely real and raw and open with myself of where I'm at. What's going on, what's happening, what am I doing every single day, what am I not even noticing? This is amazing about social media, is you can track on your phone so easily. So go into your settings, look at your screen time, it tells you how many times you pick up your phone, how many times you click on certain apps, it shows you all of that. So I want you to go in there, I want you to look at that if it's something that's important to you, and I want you to get super real, super honest, and start tracking, where am I at, what's happening, what's my starting point. And then I want you to get so intentional and focus, choose one of them. I give you a whole bunch of categories, choose one and take full responsibility in that category. Take full responsibility means no excuses. I don't care if your dog ate your homework, if your phone died and your alarm didn't go off. I don't care if whatever it is, you are choosing and declaring, I'm taking full responsibility in this area of my life, and I will be personally responsible to make sure that I'm doing the actions that I want in order to become the person I want to become. So this is where it ties into your identity, and podcast number 1, where we were talking about identity shifting. So if you did that exercise, you will see, okay, this is the type of person I want to become. Okay, you will have written down, this is the identity I want to become, and you know what you're supposed to be working on to get to that identity. Personal responsibility is your number one tool to catapult yourself to get into that new identity, because you're fully owning, and when you're fully owning that transition, you can actually have an impact on it and be rigorous and show up for yourself and actually do the things that you said you would do, and actually do those daily habits that are going to compound over time, and that will actually get you to that identity that you want to become for yourself. So I want you to get really clear. I want you to track. I want you to see what's going on, where you're at right now. I want you to see maybe where you're giving your power away, where you're like oh, well, it's because of this, it's because of that, and where you're giving excuses to your own self, because we do it to ourselves. So if you want to start tracking your excuses with love to yourself always, but this is just going to help you to see what is the mental chatter that's going on in my brain, because your brain is there to make things easy. Easy doesn't mean the best way. It doesn't mean the most efficient way for you, and doesn't mean that it's not sabotaging you, because your brain is doing what's worked in the past. So if it has been sabotaging you for your whole life, for your finances, for example, it's going to keep sabotaging you for your finances. It's not personal. It's like, hey, this is how we work. This is what worked. This is the coding my parents gave me. Like, this is the coding the generation before me gave me. I'm staying with that. It is safe. It is what we know. Let's keep doing that. Even if it's completely sabotaging you, keeping you in debt, whatever it is, it's going to keep doing that. You need to take ownership again of that program, take full responsibility, and act upon it by tracking and doing things of the sort. Someone's calling me. Everyone wants to know when this baby's coming because he's late. So everyone's calling. Yes, I have so many people on hold. I'm completely distracted of where we were at. Oh no. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I have literal mama brain, and this call just like, yeah, people are checking in. They're making sure what's going on. Are we having the baby soon? Do we need to come in? Do we need to come help? I'm so grateful, and I'm so lucky. I have everyone in my life that's supporting me. I'm so lucky to have these people in my life. So I don't know what you're talking about. I I know what we're talking about, but I've completely forgotten the part I was talking about. But I know we're talking about finances and taking full responsibility. Oh yeah, the programming. So like I was saying, your brain is there, and it's like a machine that's there to help facilitate things, and it's running programs. And sometimes the programs are outdated. Sometimes the programs go completely against what it is that you want. And you might be thinking, well, why is it there? It's completely unaligned with me, with my values. It's there because somebody else put it there. Society. It's there because your family might have put it in there. It's there because there's genetics, coding, and all this that's happening, and it's programming your brain in a certain way. It's making you react to an environment in a certain way, okay? Again, you could be like, oh, it's okay. I hope you just said it's my environment, it's my family, it's all exterior to me. My love, take personal responsibility. It is maybe happening, and it maybe happened because of exterior things, but you have power and you can change it. So let's accept it. Let's be like, okay, this is what it is. I'm being super honest with myself. This is my programming. Let me get so real with it so that I'm so clear on what it is and exactly how I'll be able to change it, because I'm clear on what it is. You cannot change something if you're not clear on it. If you're not clear of your money mindset, if you're not clear of your relationship mindsets, how you're showing up in relationships or whatever it is, how can you change that? You will not be able to. So you absolutely need to sit down with yourself and to get clear. Either you do it on paper, which is the best. It's the best to be writing down, because that's just like, it helps you. It's like you're doing therapy to yourself. You're talking to yourself and you're seeing it on paper. So it's like double. Whereas if you just sit in your thinking, that works too. So like thinking time. But my love, if you can write it down, you'll be golden. So I want you to sit down and get really honest of like, okay, this is my programming in this area of my life that I want to be working on. This is the things that I believe, even though I don't really believe them, but they're there, and they're like the thoughts I have, or they're the reactions I have to whatever situation. And get really, really specific on them so that you can be really, really specific on how you're reversing them and how you're changing them. And then I want you to repeat that to yourself and to review that often so that you're so clear on like what it is that you actually want, and you're fully taking responsibility of changing those programs, changing those thoughts, and not being upset that your brains do that. Don't be upset that your programming is that way. Don't be, again, a victim of those programs, because you're giving your power away again if you are. Choose to take full responsibility of it. Choose to take full responsibility of any of the situations that could have happened to you. It's gonna help you so much. One of the things that helped me so much is reading the book by Louise Hay, Heal Your Life. I don't even think I finished it, but I remember I read it like in Cape Cod like 4 years ago, I think. And it was, she said something like, if you want to blame your parents for fucking you up, because this is something that so many of us do, oh, it's my parents' fault. It's my parents' fault. If you want to blame your parents, blame the whole ancestry line, blame everybody. And for me, that just helped me negate and stop doing that and realize, oh, I maybe have this pattern. I'm going to stop doing it, because it's like yes, it feels good and it's like, oh, this person, this their fault because they messed me up and all that, but you're giving your power away. So if you're doing that and you're blaming somebody else, something else, you are giving your power away and you cannot act upon it. So that means you're going to stay in that situation. So let's say I would want to blame one of my parents for something that's happened to me. Me blaming them gives that situation, that person, or that situation, not even necessarily that person, but gives that situation like power. And it takes power away from me. What that means by power is that I cannot act upon it. My brain is saying, I'm telling myself and I'm like believing this is exterior to me. This happened because of these people. And because of these people, they take the blame and then I'm not able to act on it because I'm giving it away. If I would say, okay, maybe this happened with this person, with this situation, with this experience, but I'm choosing to take responsibility, ownership of the problem, ownership of the situation, ownership of whatever it is that it may be. And I'm deciding to take that ownership so that I can act upon it. Take that ownership so I can actually have an initiative and to have some slight window of opportunity to act on it and to change something about that and to make it aligned with what it is that I value, what it is that is my identity, and what it is that I actually want for myself. And this is how I'm going to build so much fulfillment for myself, because I'm going to feel like I have power in some way to act upon my circumstances. I have a responsibility to act upon my circumstances. So now we're talking about programming and big situations and like mindsets around certain categories of our life. But if you just take responsibility of your everyday life, of everyday things that happen, of all the small things that happen in your day, you're fully taking responsibility. Your day will be so much smoother because you won't feel like you need to be resentful, like you need to make people pay, like you need to make situations like you won't need to have the need to keep holding on to things. And there's another lesson that's making me think of in personal development that's a great one that I learned very early on, and I learned it and I remember understanding it and be like, this is so true and it's so right, but how do I actually like keep that, because it's such a big one, which was the forgiveness one. And it's like, forgive everyone and forgiving is for you. Again, that is taking your power back, because forgiveness is for you. Like, yes, someone could have wronged you completely horribly, or someone could have done something completely atrocious, and that's how it was hard for me to grasp this lesson, because I was like, what if someone killed someone? Like, how do you forgive? Forgiving is for the person that is doing the forgiving, because you are letting go. You are choosing to let go of the situation. I'm not carrying it with me. I'm putting it behind me. It happened. It's horrible. I'm forgiving. I'm moving on. I'm not pulling that with me, pulling that weight attached to my left foot, for example. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm not carrying that into my life. I'm not bringing that with me. I'm letting that go, and I'm letting it go. I'm taking responsibility to forgive, to move it out of the way, clear it, and to keep going with my life, and to turn that into something else. Like, you hear stories of people turning horrible situations into powerful stories, into powerful missions, where they created organizations, where they created charities, where they created missions for their life that are driven by something horrible that happened. Why? Why would they do that? Because they took full responsibility, because they took personal responsibility of a horrible situation that happened to them, and they're acting upon it, and they're showing up in their environment, and they're deciding to show up in this way instead of in the victim way, right? They're taking full responsibility. They're being leaders, and they're impacting and changing the world because of a horrible situation they went through. So this is like another example of how you can take personal responsibility to fully own whatever it is that is happening, and to just really be in your power. And I want you to know, this is a great lesson. I'm teaching it to you on this podcast, but no one's perfect. I don't do personal responsibility all the time. Like, if I get in an argument with my partner, you think I take personal responsibility 24/7? No, my goal is definitely to do that. But I'm still in a area where I'm easily triggered, I feel like, in relationships, and I can right away go to a defense mode of like, oh my God, this person did this to me and I'm so mad, and let me protect myself. Let me put a wall up, because that's my defense. So it's not even in regards to my partner right now. It's in regards to situations I've been through when I was younger, where I remember as a teenager telling myself, this is horrible. I can't believe people I can't believe like this happens to me, and I'm putting a wall up. So what I did is I created a defense mechanism where I blamed the outer world, and I said, I need to protect, I need to build a wall, and I'm going to do that, let's say, in relationships. And that's something that I have to be working on and identify and take full responsibility and be gauging, okay, this is what I do. There's a reason behind it. There's what's it called? Like there's a purpose. Like there's a purpose that there's a reason why this happened, but it's not serving me today. It's not serving me in this moment. Okay. And this is something that's really important. I'm touching on this, and maybe I'm going too personal, but whatever. Hopefully you guys can connect with this. But a lot of our ways of being that we protect ourselves with is a defense mechanism that we needed at some point, and it helped us survive. So I'm talking about my teenage years, and when I had that moment, and I remember we were like driving in the car with my parents, and something had really hurt my feelings, like a person had really hurt my feelings, and I was like, okay, I need to put a wall up. I'm too open, like I'm too vulnerable. They can just come in here and freaking destroy me. Like I had no, what's it called? Like I was too open, like people could just come in and like really hurt me. I had no boundaries, that's the word. So because of that, I'm like, okay, strong boundary, putting up a boundary, putting up a wall. That really helped me at that age, because it helped me set a strong boundary in regards to relationships and to protect myself and to not be taken advantage of. And that probably saved me really horrible situations, because just like the things that could have happened that I already saw that were like possibly happening to me, not good. Okay. So that helped me, and that helped me survive. And in that moment, it served me. Today, in my relationship with my amazing partner, with my babies, with all this defense mechanism does not work. It does not help me. It is completely broken leg. Like it's not helping anymore. Okay. So some defense mechanisms in your childhood, defense mechanisms that happened or that were created in childhood or in adolescence, whenever it is, sometimes it happened because it needed to, and it helped you survive. And you need to be able to identify that, acknowledge, appreciate it, and to be able to let it go, and to be able to say, okay, I have this. It's very intense. It's very ingrained. So let's say for me, it was very emotionally charged. So it's a defense mechanism that was very strongly created. So that means that it's harder to break, and it's going to take more time, more effort, more intention. So like think of a neural pathway. It's really deep as a neural pathway. I need to be intentional of breaking it, and I need to take full responsibility of that. But I also need to acknowledge like, hey, it was there, and it was there for a reason, and I'm owning it. It's okay. Like own your shit, own everything. That's the point of personal responsibility as well. This is where I'm going to like finish on. Own all of it. Own all of it. That even if it's things that happen to you that are completely horrible and or not fun or whatever it is, like we've all had things happen that are horrible, that are not cool, that hurt our feelings, whatever it is. But own that, and accept it. And once you accept it, this is where you can move on and build on it. If you're not even owning it, or you're not accepting it, you're in denial, you're all these things, you're staying a victim to it, and it has power over you. So this is where I want you to kind of like forgive your past. I want you to love on your past. I want you to show grace to your past, to yourself, to your inner child, to your inner teenager. I want you to show grace to those parts of your life, and to really own them and be like, that this is what happened. This is part of my story. It's okay. I'm forgiving. I'm letting go, and I'm taking responsibility here by doing this, and I'm allowing myself to act on it and to say thank you for being there for me for that time. But now I'm moving on, and I'm letting go of this defense mechanism. I'm letting go of this way of being. I'm letting go of this habit that helped me get through something, but now I don't need that habit anymore. And I'm not judging myself, and I'm being kind to myself, and I'm loving myself. Okay. So yeah, I don't even know what else to add to this, because I feel like it's pretty complete, and I feel like we touched on multi facets of personal responsibility, and I hope that it makes sense to you. But my point was to make you understand that like I'm not perfect, and I shared a little bit about that in my defense mechanisms and the way I am for relationships and what I'm still working on. And that's where I wanted you to look at all the spheres of your life, and to be open that maybe you do take full responsibility in one area of your life and you kill it, and you're fully owning everything, all the hits that are coming at you, you're taking them on, you're getting hit, but you're getting up, and you're taking responsibility, and you're changing, and you're finding solutions, and you're growing and evolving. And in other areas, you might completely sulk and like become a victim and be scared. Okay. And that happens, and it happens to me, and there's areas in my life that I'll share more of as we go on, that I definitely have that issue, and I do go into that mode, and I'm aware of it. So I'm taking ownership of being aware of it, but I'm not at a point where I'm actually out of those reactions, and I want to be out of them at some point. So I need to sit down and be intentional of, okay, I'm owning this part of my life. I'm owning social media. I'm owning my finances. I'm owning my relationships. I'm owning my health and wellness. I'm owning the way I show up to work. I'm owning that, and I'm fully putting personal responsibility here, and I'm fully owning it, and I'm going to actually change my trajectory here and have an impact on it. And last point here to remember is that you need to be aware of what's happening, where you're at, where you want to go. So like, what's your goal with this? And then you need to be bridging that gap between A and B, so point A and B. And you need to look at what's the daily habits. Break it down as small as you can. Okay, so don't just be like, if I want to become this type of person, I need to be running a marathon. You're not going to go get up to tomorrow and run a marathon if you've not been running at all for, 2 years because you're pregnant and you're breastfeeding, example. So, okay, I want to running a marathon is a big goal that's going to make it so that if I'm like, let's say you're talking about health. Point A is where I'm at now. Point B is like the ultimate health, like the ultimate body, the ultimate, what's it called? Like, I don't have the words. Like the ultimate healthiest version of you, which can run a marathon, can climb a tree, can whatever it is that you want to be doing. And then you're looking at it and you're like, okay, this person can for sure run a marathon, for sure can swim, for sure can ski, for sure can do all these things. Okay, how are you going to break it down from there? Like, okay, this person can run a marathon, this person can run a marathon, and how do you break it down, reverse engineer it to you, where you're at now, taking full ownership of where you're at now. Let's break it down more. Okay, like, where does this person today at point A start to get to point B? Where does this person start? At the smallest degree. They're waking up, they're going outside, putting on shoes, and they're walking a mile and a half, walking 2 miles, walking 3 miles, slowly but surely adding on. And at some point, over maybe a year and a half, 2 years, they can run a full marathon on one run. But you're not going to get there tomorrow. And if you put goals that are so big, that are so out of reach, you are again giving your power away because you're not breaking it down. You're not being modest with yourself. You're not being real with yourself, of showing yourself, here is how I'm going to get there with these small daily habits that are going to add up. And I know that they'll add up and get to that. You need to break it down. You need to be giving yourself a shot to actually get to that destination. So personal responsibility is also about being realistic, being open to working on your daily habits and reversing engineering all the way down to like the littlest things that you're needing to be doing. So it's like, let's say for social media, like, let's say when I'm going on socials, I'm going to think about what I'm posting first instead of consuming the content. And how am I going to switch that? Okay, I'm going to give myself a cue. Okay, so as soon as I do this with my thumb, I'm going to, whatever it is, okay? Like, give yourself easy, fun tricks. I hope that this podcast was interesting. Maybe I'll go in labor tonight. I'm glad I did not go in labor through this podcast. I actually did have a couple contractions, but they were not intense because I'm in the early labor I told you about, so latent phase as well. And I hope that I made sense with personal responsibility. I feel like it's so important. I feel like I try to give you as many examples as possible, and that it gives you guys context, and it gives you guys power, and it gives you guys ideas on how to act upon it, and also grace and love that you're not alone, that like we are all always working on our things, and it's amazing and it's okay. And this is why I want to show up for you guys, give you tricks, but also share with you and be more open on this podcast so you guys can connect with me. And when we connect together, we feel like we're not alone, and we feel like we can have ideas and solutions of ways on how to get somewhere that we want to get. So I hope that this was interesting to you. I hope that you understood a bit more about personal responsibility, and that you know that it is so crucial for you to understand and to use as a weapon in order to become the new identity you want in whatever area of your life it is, or just in general, because it is a weapon that is yours, and it's a weapon that if you start choosing to use right now, you are taking full power of your life, you're taking full responsibility, and you will feel great. And I want you to do that with yourself with so much love, with so much compassion. And I want to thank you for watching this podcast. And please leave like a comment if you can on whichever platform you're on. I don't think you can leave a comment on any platform, but if you can, please leave a comment. If you can follow, please follow. It's a brand new podcast. I want to keep doing it for you guys, but I want to see if you guys are interested. And when you guys follow, I see that you are. Like it if you can as well, because I think maybe sometimes on certain platforms you can, but I'm not sure which ones. If you're on YouTube, you can definitely like it, subscribe to the channel. You'll have a vlog every week. So I do a vlog every Sunday and a podcast every Wednesday. So 10 a.m. EST for both, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I hope this was really interesting to you guys. I hope that I'll be able to keep it up with the new baby and show you a bit behind the scenes of that, and just be showing up for you guys and giving you so much value and just love, because that's my goal. And this is why I'm doing these podcasts and like these videos and all of that, is because I love personal development so much, and I want to bring that to you guys. I want to make it accessible. I want to be the girlfriend that maybe you don't have, that you can talk to about these things with, and hopefully we can connect. Never hesitate to chat with me. You can hit me up, DM me, sliding into my DMs, no problem. And you can always book a free clarity call as well if you want to do coaching. So one-on-one coaching, I do life and success coaching. You can always book that one-on-one free Calendly call, and we can chat and see, is this the right fit for you? Am I a coach for you? I work as a life coach and an HR consultant, as you heard at the beginning. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Let me know as well if you have any topics that you want me to discuss. I will definitely do that for sure. I love doing these. I hope that this brought you so much value, and I will wish you a beautiful evening, morning, day, whatever it is that you're having. We'll chat again soon. All right, bye guys.